because going back is exactly what MAGA conservatives want. Hello, my name is Brad Bartholomew, and this is American Zeitgeist, Part 2, Tough Love Videos. Today's topic, MAGA conservatives. From the beginning, I said this series would examine our divided society through two essential lenses, critical thinking and situational awareness. Critical thinking is purely mental. It's seeking reality using common sense and common decency. Situational awareness comes more from the tactical environment, where stress, action, and consequences all collide. It means recognizing what's going on around you, making smart decisions under stress, and making timely course corrections when needed. Both are vital. But in high-stress group situations, I've also argued we need more. One, we need a moral grounding, such as the Golden Rule, and a civic commitment to the greater good, to steer decision-making forward, not backwards. Before we wrap up part 2, I want to add 2 additional concepts from aviation: flexibility and judgment. A few months ago, I was with 3 close friends and we were talking. 2 of us had been T-38 instructors in the Air Force, and one was also a squadron commander of a pilot training, and the other was a vice president of a training department at a major U.S. carrier. We all agreed flying safely is a head game. The most critical skill a pilot needs is mental flexibility, the ability to adjust and to apply sound judgment in a timely manner. This brings us back to America's fractured political mindset. Here's my take. The MAGA mindset is mentally rigid, morally corrupt, and utterly incapable of sound judgment. Their logic starts with bullshit, moves straight to blaming others, never allows for compromise, and never accepts responsibility, often because they believe they have God on their side. That's convenient. Just like flying, America's fractured political mindset is a head game, and I believe half the country is flying blind. Good judgment is absent, and it's been replaced by cult thinking and conservative extremism. Let's look at what's happening. In the early days of Trump's second term, we've already seen unlawful acts, abuse of power, and deliberate intimidation of American citizens on our own soil. The rule of law and the Constitution are being bypassed, even dismantled. But nothing was more depraved than what we recently saw at the Temple of Conservatism, a CPAC meeting in Washington. After stripping food, medicine, and shelter from some of the most desperate people in the world, Elon Musk held up a chainsaw like a trophy and was cheered on by the CPAC crowd of powerful conservatives. It was a grotesque victory dance, and the crowd roared with excitement. This wasn't just a moment of immense human cruelty and evilness. It was a moment of Christian conservative celebration. And while this horrific scene will hopefully be burned into our national psyche, we also had ICE agents dressed in camouflage, resembling Nazi brown shirts, rounding up day laborers outside of Home Depot looking for work. Simultaneously, the MAGA White House was trying to replace the US dollar, the bedrock of our global economy, with cryptocurrency. This is why I say MAGA equals cruelty, chaos, and corruption. I also call the MAGA mindset the square root of stupidity. In this MAGA White House, the FDA is led by someone who doesn't believe in science, germ theory, or vaccines. Many MAGA conservative Christians follow the same logic, which is why they attack public schools and demand vouchers to indoctrinate their kids into a cult of ignorance. Let's switch our focus and talk about Kamala Harris. MAGA conservatives have sneered at her candidacy, calling her the symbol of woke liberalism. Despite her stellar record as a district attorney, attorney general, U.S. senator, and vice president, I heard more than one MAGA conservative say, "Oh, she probably slept her way up to the top." That's not just sexist. That's evil cloaked in smugness. But I think Kamala Harris may have really rattled them when she chose the slogan, "We're not going back," because going back is exactly what MAGA conservatives want. Back to misogyny, racism, and the white male power structure that has controlled America for centuries. Let's remember, when the U.S. Constitution was signed, only white male landowners could vote. Almost 100 years later, we fought a civil war to end slavery, only to see Jim Crow laws emerge. Women didn't get the right to vote until the 20th century, and the Civil Rights Act barely passed a lifetime ago. So when groups like the Federalist Society, backed by dark money and are now dominating the Supreme Court, say they support originalism, you know exactly what they mean. They want to restore a past where white conservative men held all the power. Kamala's words of "we won't go back" and Hillary's words before that, "it takes a village," these words must have terrorized their sensibility and seemed like fighting words to MAGA conservatives. Naturally, they responded by trying to destroy both of these well-qualified ladies. This is how the MAGA movement poisons America's zeitgeist. They twist faith, they weaponize fear, they reject truth, they worship power, and emotionally tremble when they hear the word liberal. But I still believe in a liberal democracy and a liberal education. In fact, I'm proud of it. I asked ChatGPT what both terms mean. This is what Chat said. Liberal democracy equals fair and free elections, rule of law, separations of power, protections of individual rights, independent media, tolerance and pluralism. A liberal education equals critical thinking. I think we've heard about that one before. Interdisciplinary learning, ethical reasoning, civic responsibility, lifelong learning. This is what I want for my granddaughters, not a MAGA cult dragging us backwards. This is the final Tough Love video in part 2. Each episode was designed with one purpose: to confront MAGA friends and families with the truth. Tough love, not polite avoidance. In the MAGA veterans video, I reminded my fellow vets, we swore an oath to the Constitution, not to a con man. In the MAGA women video, I asked, why vote for a convicted sex offender over 2 qualified female leaders? What message does that send to your daughters? In the MAGA Christianity video, I asked, where in the Bible does it say power, greed, and cruelty will get you into heaven? My take? MAGA Christians are following Satan, not Jesus. In the MAGA capitalist video, I condemned CEOs for staying silent about Project 2025, a blueprint for fascism, just to get a tax cut, even while they're jeopardizing the US dollar. In the MAGA Rural America video, I challenged the myth that Trump cares about rural America. That's unbelievable. And I also questioned their once trusted bullshit meter. Why has that failed so completely? And now the MAGA conservative video, I made the case that the conservative movement has been captured, corrupted, and weaponized by money, data, fear, and fundamentalism. That's what we must face, and that's what we must fix. Before I sign off for an extended break, I have one thank you and one request. I need to thank Raylan Bumgardner. She's the daughter of one of my cigar buddies and a college student studying in Sweden. She has been a valuable sounding board for my content, and her video and internet savvy have been invaluable. She's the executive producer and publicist of the American Zeitgeist videos. Secondly, I have never, and I will never, ask for money, your vote, your email, or ask you to subscribe. I'm not trying to become a social influencer or profit from any of this. I am merely a retired airline pilot, concerned citizen, and most importantly, a grandpa. For most of my life, I have shunned social media, but the reality is I now need it. If you believe these videos have merit, I would be very grateful if you would pass them along, either by word of mouth or via social media. Let's not ignore reality and make our kids or grandkids pay for our sins. Critical thinking matters. Parenting matters. Citizenship matters. For now, safe landings, everyone.